Hello everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to another Stamp With Me class. I gave you a little sneak peek and here's the project. We're going to make a little gift box with the owl, make it as a punch art. I have a whole bunch of punch circles here on the bottom. And then we're going to create this little 3x3 card to coordinate. And you could actually use this as a card, or you could punch a hole and use it as a tag. And I've also gone ahead and done the flap on the envelope to coordinate. So that's what we're going to be doing today. It looks complicated, but it really is not. I hope you guys like owls. I love owls. I can see some hearts going, so it looks like you guys like the project. So let me just bring in everything that we're using. So you can see here that I used 3 different patterns for my designer paper. That's why I said it had to coordinate so that it looks good. And so I have some scraps here that I'm going to throw in only because my 1-inch circle punch fits on all of these scraps. So there's my 3 designs that I'm using. And that's from the Bird Ballad designer paper. And then we needed some other scrap colors, and those are all going to be to do the punches for the eyes and the nose. So very easy. So let's get started with the box first, and then we'll do some punching because we have a lot of circles to punch. So you're going to need your early espresso. This is 8.5 by 11. We don't even need to cut this down right now. We're going to score first, and then we're going to make 1 cut. So go ahead and bring in your scoring tool. You're going to put it on the 11-inch side. And we're going to score a few times. We're going to score at 3.5 all the way across. Then you're going to score at 5, 8.5. Oh wait, I hope I'm saying that right. 8, yes, and 10. Okay, so 3.5, 5, 8.5, and 10. I'm just going to go over them one more time. So you got 4 score lines. I'm going to repeat again in case somebody's still scoring. 3.5, 5, 8.5, and 10. And then we're going to take this. Go on the 8.5-inch side, and you're going to score at 1.5. So 1 score line on this side. Okay. Now what I want to do is bring in my trimmer, because this would be so tall for a box. So if I put this even with the score line, we're gonna cut off, I believe that's 1.5 inches. I didn't even write down what I cut off. I'm pretty sure it's 1.5 inches. Let me make sure. Yeah, we're gonna cut off 1.5 inches. Now the scored part is over to the left, so make sure you score on the longer end. So cut off 1.5 inches. The reason I didn't cut this off first because I need these score lines later to do something else with it. Okay. I'm just going to hold off just a little bit. Let everybody get caught up. So when you're done, you should have the score line right here on the bottom, and then you have this piece that's cut off. So now what we're going to do with the score line towards the bottom, you're going to cut on all of these score lines up to that score line. So you're going to do that 4 times. Okay, so now we have 4 flaps. Well, this one too. We're going to cut this one off actually. So there's your 4 flaps. Now to make this easy to glue down, we're going to take each of these flaps and cut off an angled section on each side. So I'm just cutting off like about 1/4 of an inch and you're going to have an angle on both sides. You're going to do that for all 4 of these flaps. It just makes it easier to line everything up once you start gluing all the flaps down. Okay, so there's my 4 flaps. So you can see there should be a little V section in between all your flaps. And now I'm just going to hold off, let everybody get caught up. Is anyone doing this with me today? I saw some people say that they were getting their stuff ready. I know Lori is. Anyone else? Just give me a thumbs up if you're working with me today. And you guys, there's no stamping today. This is all punch art and die art and designer paper. No stamping at all. You could add a sentiment to any of your projects once you're done though. Okay, Debbie's stamping. Or not stamping, creating. We are paper crafting today. We're not stamping. We are actually only paper crafting. Okay, now this piece on the end that's scored, you're going to cut off the little triangular piece. So we don't need that. And then we're going to angle this piece also. Okay. So this is what you should look like. Now I'm going to roll up my sleeves and we're going to get to work. We're going to actually go ahead and fold on all of these score lines. That's going to create our box. And we're also going to fold on all the flaps. I'm just going to get this all ready for assembly. And then I am using tear and tape, so you guys can use whatever you want for your adhesive of choice. We're going to work on this flap right here, the flap on the end. And we're going to add 2 pieces of tear and tape. And I always like to burnish with my bone folder just to heat up the glue a little bit. It makes it easier to pull these off. And I use my paper piercer to pull off the strips. Now what's easy about this, because your sides are all equal, you're just going to fold this down. Your glue is right here. And then you're going to fold this down and it's going to line up perfectly for you. You don't even have to mess with it. And there's your box shape. Okay, I'm going to wait just a little bit longer in case somebody's still catching up. So I'm getting a lot of feedback. You guys like these classes. I'm so happy. I'm trying to mix it up each time by doing something different because we've done a 3D project. We did an album. We did some card folds yesterday or 2 days ago. Today is punch art. Maybe next time we'll do some techniques. I'm not sure yet what we're going to do. Oh, thanks for the heart. So everybody likes the classes. I'm glad. Okay, now we need to glue all of these flaps in. So what I'm going to do is add adhesive to one of the long flaps. And again, I'm going to add, where's my end? I'm going to add 2 rows. There's my end. 2 rows of tear and tape. I'm going to use my bone folder. Pull off the backing. So now we're ready to glue this down. And what I did is I actually put the big flap down first. The 2 little ones over that. Oops, wait a minute. The one with the glue. I did that. Oh, you know what I did? I put the glue on the wrong side. Duh. You guys, if you guys followed me, you did the same thing. That's okay. We'll just press the 2 flaps down. I should have added the tear and tape on the back of the flap, not the front. That's okay. We'll just have double the glue. So let's do that again. I just flipped the flap the wrong way. And then we're gonna flop that down. So there's the bottom. So there's our box. Look how cute, how quick that was. Now we're ready to decorate. So I can put this here now that so you guys can see. We're gonna start out with doing all of these circles. So you can go ahead and bring in your 1-inch circle punch and your designer paper layers. And the first and last row are the same pattern. You guys do it the way you want. You could even use 4 patterns if you wanted. So I did 8 circles. So using the 1-inch circle punch, we're gonna do 8 circles with the first pattern. Just trying to use up all these little pieces of designer paper that I've got. Okay, so 8 of those. And then we're gonna do 4 of the next design. And 4 of the third design. Let me flip these over. So see, I got rid of scraps already. So I need 3 more of the yellow. This is going to be the longest part of the whole design, but it's kind of fun. Okay, I'm just gonna wait. I know it's gonna take a little bit of time to cut all these circles. So you should have a total of 16 circles. And once you're ready, you're gonna take your bone folder. See how curly they are? You're just gonna hold it between 2 fingers and you're just gonna curl with your bone folder. That's all we want, is just to curl on one end, because the other end is gonna glue flat. So we've got 16 of these to do. And then once we start gluing, it goes really quickly. So so for those of you participating in the swap that I posted, we had what, 6 groups of 6. So we had 36 people participating. I have all of my swaps. If you guys have one with stripes, make sure you're curling on the same. See how my stripes are vertical? So anyway, I have all of my swaps arrived today. So I'm gonna show them to you. Maybe as I get done curling my papers here, I'll show you my swaps while everybody else catches up. So we had 6 groups of 6. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put my swap card in there to show you mine. I just have everybody else's. I think it's sitting on my counter though, so I think I can quickly zip over there. Okay, so there's my 16 circles. Let me go get my swap card. I'm going to show you swap cards while everybody does their circles. Okay, no, I do not have mine nearby, but I'll show you everyone else's. And I know a lot of you guys are getting your swaps because there's been comments. Okay, so the first one is from Bobby Miller, and I just saw her on here, so I know she's watching. She used the new Ornate Garden set. Look at the beautiful die cut on the border. And then this beautiful rectangle that comes with that set. The next one is from Suzanne Travis. I love the colors. She coordinated the colors with the designer paper. Again, a pretty border on that side there. So Suzanne Travis. Next is Sarah Wakeman. And I love how she used the little heart doily in the background to put her little umbrella in her boots. And her boots have like the crystal, the glue on them that makes them nice and shiny. They're so cute. Hopefully I picked that up on the camera. The next one is from Corinne Sandon. You know, Corinne, if you're watching, I forgot that you were from Maine. I knew this a long time ago, and this just reminded me. So she's from Maine, just like I am. I love just the black and white look. So pretty. And then this one is from Cindy Evans. And what's great about this is a belly band that just slides right off the card. What a pretty Easter card. And then it opens up to reveal another tulip on the inside. So that's glued to the belly band with stamping dimensionals. And then I got a swap card from someone that wasn't even in my group. She wanted to send me one. She's local to me. This is from Debbie Clark. I love the colors in our paper. And it has a little shorter end on the front so that the designer paper peeks out. So there's Debbie's card. So nice card. I hope everybody's going to receive their swap cards. And when you do, make sure you add pictures to our page so everybody can see them. Okay, everybody should be ready with their circles. Now I'm going to use tear and tape. It's up to you what you want to use for adhesive. I'm going to glue a strip across about 1 inch from the bottom. And I am going to use my scissors to cut this because I want it to be nice and even with the end. And I'm going to go ahead and peel that off. And if you fall behind on this part, it's okay because you can always finish later. Now I do have a white chalk marker with me only because I want to mark where my center point is, and I didn't mention that in the supplies. So 1 3/4 will be my center. If you have a pencil or a pen there, you can mark it up. You're going to position these so the curled part is facing you on the bottom. And then we're going to add those right on the tear and tape. And you're just going to butt them up against each other. So we're going to need 4. They're going to be a little too long. We're just going to trim that. Okay, so there's the first row. And then I'm just going to flip that over and trim this off. So we need to do this 4 times. Now, if you want to eyeball where your next strip's going to be, you would just lay this over in between the 2. So you want your strip about maybe 1/4 inch higher than the one you did before that. So about 1/4 inch above your first row. Don't put them up too high because what you're trying to do is cover the little spacing in between when you put them down. Okay, now my next row is going to be my striped ones. I don't want to put them directly over the other one. I want to put them in between. So you see how that covers when you have it sitting, it covers that spacing in between. So I'm going to do the 3. The last one I'm actually going to cut in half. And we're going to add that right to the end. And you can overlap them a little bit just to make sure that they're sticking to the tape. And then again, we're going to trim that up. Okay, so there's 2 rows. So like I said, we're going to do this 4 times. So again, about 1/4 inch above the row you just did. So you guys, I love seeing all the cards and projects you've been putting on the page. It's so neat to see the different colors people are using and the different designer papers. The cards just end up looking so different. Okay, again, we're going to start out by putting it in the center where the 2 pieces meet. So there's number 4. So how does that look so far? Isn't that cool? And if you want to use a bigger punch than a 1-inch circle, you can, but the thing is your scallops are going to go too high and then you run into your face. So that's why I opted to use just the 1 inch. And our last one. So Rhonda is saying the videos have helped with distracting from other things going on these days. I agree with you. So I live way up in northern Maine. There have been no cases up till now, till about 2 hours from us. And today we found out that there is one in our town. So it's happening here too. We've been lucky so far. Okay, here's our last row. And then we're going to cut the last one in half like we did on row number 2. Only because it extends over on the end just a tad bit, but we need to put one on there. Whoops. And you know what I did for the first time this week? I've done it twice. I've done curbside grocery shopping. We actually just went today to get some. That works out pretty good. You do your order online, they give you a confirmation number, and then you call when you get there and they bring your groceries out to you. No contact at all. Okay, so there's the 4 rows of scallops. Now we need to cover this mess up here. So that's where any designer paper that you've used already, you can go ahead and cut a 1/2 inch strip. And then I'm going to stop for a little bit and let everyone catch up. So there's my 1/2 inch strip. I'm going to add one more row of the tear and tape. And you can use liquid glue for this too. I think it'd just be a little messier. That's why I opted to use the tear and tape. And then we have to make sure that this one is going to be nice and straight. Whoops, hold on. I missed a little spot. I missed a little spot right there. Maybe I can put a bling there. I was watching my screen. I was watching you guys talk and I wasn't paying attention. That's okay. Maybe I can make a little ribbon bow and put a little bow there. So just be careful to make sure everything's covered when you put that strip down. Okay, now let's see what else we got to do. I'm going to wait a little bit to make sure everybody catches up. In the meantime, we are going to need the big shot just to cut out the wings. And what I did is I used the oval die to do that with. And if you missed the instructions that I gave you, this oval is 2.5 inches long. Okay, so is everybody still working on their projects that's doing this with me? Just give me a thumbs up if you're still working. I don't want to go too fast because we got a lot of punching to do in the next few steps. Punching and die cutting. Okay, I see some thumbs up, so people are still working. Oh, Lori, you never participated in a swap before. So a swap, I did have a couple people that had never done it, and I should have explained a little bit more. So all a swap is, I'm going to use Bobby's for an example. So there was 6 of us. So we create 6 cards that are the same. So she created 6 of these. She kept one for herself, and you don't do anything on the inside. You leave it blank. And a few of you guys signed your cards, but that's okay. We'll know for next time. Because the recipient can reuse their cards. That's the whole gist of it. So that's all it is just a production style thing where you create. I give you a number of how many you need to create. You do the same card for everyone, And then there's always a deadline that they have to be mailed and received by. So pretty simple. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut off the piece that we scored. You want the two long sections. We're gonna cut those off. And if you didn't finish your circles, just keep working. But you can cut out your oval shape in the meantime. I'm going to bring in the big shot. And because I didn't want to have to dig out another cardstock piece to do the wings, and I'm going to cut these, this die actually cuts through two pieces at once. It's not wide enough to cut it in half, so I'm actually going to just place it on the cardstock about there, because I don't want a full oval anyway. And you're going to see we use almost every single part of this cardstock. Okay, so there's my two wings. And that's all the die cutting. Oh, Debbie, you missed the size. I just measured it for you. It is 2.5. It's 2.5 inches long. So you need to cut two pieces. Let me bring my little project back in. And we're actually going to glue the wings down with dimensionals because I wanted them to pop off of the front of the box. Now I did add this tissue paper right before I went live. I decided to grab, this is actually the paper pumpkin tissue paper that comes in our kit. I cut it in half and it's perfect to put in here, and then I have another piece to put in this box. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and glue the wings down. And all I did was add dimensionals at the top, opposite ends. And then we're going to glue this so that the flat end faces outwards. So that's going to go like this. You know, it'd be cool if you did one like this too, like it's waving high. That would look cool too. And then we're going to do this one like that. So there's the wings. Pretty easy. And all we've got left to do now is all of the punch art. So because we're also creating a card that has the same punch art, go ahead and get your 6x3 inch piece out and we'll get the card ready. So that way we can glue everything together and punch everything at the same time. So you're gonna go ahead and score the card at 3 inches. Okay, I'm just gonna wait a little bit, make sure everyone's caught up. I'm gonna open up the card just so you can see it. And then we need to make some ears for the owl too. Okay. I'm just looking to see if you guys had any questions on anything. Oh, I can see some of you guys tuned in late, so you can always catch up, you know. So this morning what I did is I reloaded all of the projects with my photos, and on each post with the photos I added the link to the video and the link to the post that you need for all the sizes and supplies. So everything's all together on one post now that the videos are posted. Okay, so now you should have a piece of white 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. That's actually going to go on the inside of the card, just so we don't forget it. I did not decorate the inside. And then we have another 1/2 inch strip of designer paper that goes on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in the trimmer and cut another 1/2 inch strip. think I'll do this side. I like the colors on this, the stripes on this end. So you can go ahead and glue the 1/2 inch strip on the bottom. And where are my scissors? Open to have the 3 by 3 inch envelopes. I did do the flap. I'm going to go ahead and do that while I wait for everyone to catch up. And all I do for that is add the adhesive on the flap. Line that up where the fold line is. And then you just cut around the flap. Try not to cut the flap off. You can usually feel with your scissors, you can feel the edge of the flap. Okay, so there's our cute little envelope. Okay, now it's punching time. So I'm going to bring in all of the cardstock that we need. So what we have left over from the brown, you have one here that has a fold. Keep that piece because we need to do the ears for the owl. You can go ahead and use the scrap with the 1/2 inch punch. And remember that we are doing 2 of everything. So that means 4 for both projects. So we're going to cut out 4 circles, 1/2 inch punch with the early espresso. And then we go to the 1 inch punch. We're going to do 4 white circles. Whoops, I cut off the end on that one. There's 2, 3, 4. And then with the yellow, we need the 1 1/8 inch scallop circle punch. So if you guys don't have all these punches, just make sure it's 4 different sizes. And the last one is the 1 3/8 scallop circle. And we also need a nose. And that's going to be with the Daffodil Delight. I'm actually using the Christmas Bulb Builder Punch. We need 2. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to snip off this little flat piece there. I'm just going to make that nice and flat. And then we're ready to layer everything. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's where all the fun is. I'm using liquid glue. So we're going to center all of these in first. And then I thought it was neat to add the rhinestone jewels in there. It really makes the eyes pop. Next layer is your Whisper White. I like the way that the 1 inch punch is just a tad smaller so that we just have a little bit of the daffodil peeking through. So 4 Whisper White. And the last one is going to be the Early Espresso, and I just put 1 dot of glue closer to one end because I kind of have him cross-eyed. If you don't like him cross-eyed, you can put it in the middle. But I think it looks better cross-eyed. Don't you? And then we're going to add the rhinestone jewels. And it's going to be the smaller ones. closer to the edge. I don't know, I think it would look funky if they weren't cross-eyed. I just think it looks better that way. Okay, there's 4 of those. And the noses, we're going to add mini dimensionals to those. So I'm just getting everything ready so we can go ahead and glue it all in place. Dolores, I don't have the bulb punch for the nose, but check out the largest bow builder punch. I think anything, if it has a little pointy end to it, it's going to look like a nose, and you might even have to hand cut a little triangle. That would work too. Now the last thing we're going to do, this piece that bends, all I did was cut it even, and I cut a little triangle by hand up to the middle on both sides. And then we're going to cut that in the center, and that's the 2 ears. So now we're ready to glue everything. I know I went kind of fast there, but all you need to do really is to assemble all your circles, get your noses ready, your 2 ears, and then we just glue everything in place. So let's start out with the card. So I'm going to glue 2 of the eyes. And then make sure that the little, the pupils are facing the center, so it makes it look cross-eyed. So there's my card. Well, the eyes. Now we got to add the nose. That's the last piece. This little critter, when I put the nose on, it reminds me of Big Bird. I don't know why. He just looks like Big Bird. We're going to layer the nose so that it stays layered over the eyes just a tad bit. So there's the card, very simple, with the coordinating flap on the envelope. Now we got to finish the box. So that's where the ears go, on the inside. So all we're going to do for the ears is add just a line of glue. And you're going to glue them all the way to the end. Just hold that there for a bit. Same thing on this one. So there's the ears. Then we've got the 2 eyes and the nose, and we're done. And when I added the eyes, I added them about 1/4 of an inch below the box top. What's great about the liquid glue is if you don't like where it is, you can move it around, because it's not right in place until you decide, yes, I like it there, and then I'm going to press and squeeze. There's the 2 eyes. And lastly is the nose. And then, like I said, I have a little, the other half of the paper pumpkin tissue paper. I'm just gonna fold that in half and stick that inside the box. And there's our 2 projects for today. So let me bring in, so we've got number 2 owl with the card and our number 1 owl with the card. So there you go. Those are my projects for today. I hope you guys like them. I hope you like the punch art. Let me stand this one up. Maybe you can see it better this way. And I'm not sure what we're going to do next. If you guys have any ideas or any suggestions, let me know. I'm sure I'll come up with something. Like I said, maybe I'll do techniques. And I probably will be back with you on Monday. Tonight I have paper pumpkin on my business page. And then on Sunday, I'll have my Sunday share on my business page also at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So I hope to see you then, and have a very good weekend, everyone, and stay safe. Bye-bye.